two chairs. And now it's just like the red carpet. Do you guys feel warm and welcomed here? Do you feel the warmth in the room?
To mirror what Dr. Shaka said, I remember the first year we didn't have a stage, we had a table, and I think we had 4 or 5 other tables, and the room was a quarter of what it is now. And it's honestly one of my favorite days of the entire year to come and do this, and to talk with all of you, and to be here.
So I want to set some ground rules for us. So this is your day, students. This is not about the adults in the room, but there's a charge to both. This is
Let's find another internship, and sometimes we may need to do those things, but ultimately I said, you know, I have to stick it through, and here's what I can take from it. I also have to advocate for myself. I also realized that it was very overwhelming for me, so kind of like what she was saying earlier, you know, self-care was really important. So I chose to really look at it from what I can take away from it rather than just think about the whole experience as negative. So when we go through our career process, that's also something to consider.
Important thing with that. So I work at Boehringer, and one of the things that I've been responsible for is integrating a system of psychological safety. And this here is really big about that, having a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And one thing that people have a hard time doing is something negative will happen and they stay in this fixed mindset. Being able to rewrite that narrative or change the frame. I do it for myself all the time. And sometimes something isn't working, I was like, oh man, why is this not working? Am I dumb? Blah, blah, blah. And you kind of, you know, once the train has left the station, it's gone. And being able to say, no, I'm learning. It's not that I'm dumb, it's not that I'm incapable, it's that I'm in a period of growth. And being able to change that mindset and reframe that one thing kind of puts the train on a completely different track. And also with feedback, some people, there's a difference between criticism and feedback. And feedback is a gift. You don't have to take it, you can always leave it where it is. You don't have to open it. Not all feedback, and depending on who the feedback is from, is going to be productive or positive. And it's an important thing in your own self-care and controlling your own emotions of knowing what feedback is relevant for where I am right now and where I want to go. Somebody might, a mentor, which often happens, Lionel's dad was the same way, might want you to go down a particular path. They might have a certain vision that they see for you, but it's not what you want for you. And knowing that that feedback is great, but it does not serve you, and knowing that you don't have to open it is perfectly fine too. Been in too many trainings lately.
But it's definitely true, and I also, psychological safety is also an area that I do a lot of work in. And I think, let me just see how much time we've got. Okay, so we should be wrapping up, right? Is that?
Yeah, we got 5 minutes.
About 5 minutes.
Oh, we have 5 minutes?
11:35. You got to be back in
11:40.
Okay, so
Probably wrapping up. Yeah.
we'll start wrapping up. Overall tips. So overall tips is recognizing and acknowledging your experiences without judgment. So part of the slides I didn't get to, but it was also just talking about how sometimes when we may feel anxious or when we may feel nervous about our next steps, we sometimes self-sabotage. So sometimes we don't go for the things that we know will help us, or we don't ask for the help, even though it's something that we know would be to our benefit. Sometimes we procrastinate. And so sometimes I'll get to it, and we're really setting ourselves up. I see some smiling because I think y'all know, even if it's not in career, even sometimes in school, right? Like sometimes we may set ourselves up because we feel anxious, we don't study, or we don't start the paper until later, and then that's just lessening the ability for us to have success. And so recognizing and acknowledging kind of how we operate when maybe we feel anxious or frustrated or nervous, and then thinking about what we can do differently. So also questioning, you know, how valid are any negative beliefs that I have about myself? So in the example I gave of, you know, maybe I'm networking and I feel like, oh, well, why would they want to talk to me? I don't have anything of value. Just challenging those beliefs.